Let's talk about two projects then, where I don't know, I see a similarity, which is Gully Boy and Yehballet, which you were involved with both, and I think that strikes through in the story of the film as well, does it not? There is this pathos of where these people come from in terms of their economic origin and this incredible talent that they have on the other side. Tell me the process when you were trying to think through the music and whether that was playing on your mind. The fact that there was so much push and pull between ability and talent versus access and reality.
In terms of story or in terms of the
Yeah, in terms of
projects?
your music making, was that playing on your mind? Where they were based, their economic background, and you walk me through it. I'm
Yeah,
sure your words will be better. Yeah.
it's interesting that you picked these two films. Is the one thing that is most interesting for me about these two films that they're both helmed by women. One by Zoya Akhtar and one by Sunita Raporwala. And I realized very early in life is the way that women deal with life is much more interesting than how men deal with life. Their balance is much better. And it was a huge learning process for me to see these two kind of like strong women make this film of this scale and tell such stories. Their gaze was very interesting for me. I'm sure that both these stories, if they were made by men, they would be slightly different, if not a lot. That really helps you, link up with a gaze which is kind of, I feel, I don't want to generalize, but is kind of missing for the male gaze, from the male gaze. Women usually end up looking at things in a much more interesting, empathetic manner than men do. This is a generalization that I'm making, but there are other things. There are other people who are not probably like this. So that was one thing which was very prime, and both the projects I got involved while they were getting scripted. So it was very interesting to kind of live the story of these two strong characters, whether it's Nishu or whether it was Murad. And for me it was very interesting of how they were dealing with life, and especially Gully Boy, because I had kind of spent some time, when I was working with MTV, I was looking at the hip hop world emerging in India just before Zoya and Rima had started writing Gully Boy, and it was very interesting for me to see how they were using the resources and how they were expressing themselves. And the most interesting thing that I found in the music that they made was their music was even more honest than my own music. Even when I write my music, I felt that it was kind of even their music is derived from what was happening in the US hip-hop scene, but my music even more so. What they were talking about really came from a place that they lived on a daily basis. Like, they have a choice between a hard life and making music, and it doesn't make any sense making music. But interesting thing about all these characters, both in Yehballet and in Gully Boy, was the characters' relationships with their mothers in real life. Again, a very interesting thing to notice. So for me, it was again a very interesting perspective about how, at least as men, we need to look at life and money and decisions and a balance between practicality and emotions. It really put a lot of things in place, and that helped even kind of taking decisions in terms of the choice of music, the choice of instruments, the choice of studios, the choice of artists. All of that was guided by that, of how you would take some really impractical decisions, impractical from the perspective of the suits, but really understanding what the story is about. And both Suni and Zoya helped me and kind of like supported me in taking those calls, and they became a part of those calls, so it helped me if it failed, then they would take the blame as well. But fortunately for me, it didn't fail as bad. In fact, it did well.
At all, it didn't at all, and I think that's what really shines through, that it's so raw and real. Perhaps that's why I saw both those projects together. But thank you so much, Ankur. It's been such
Thank you so much for having me, and I feel really privileged to be here on this thing. Also because it's so I don't know what to say about money, so I hope I helped you in some way, or whosoever listens to it.
But I think that's what's best about it. I think that it's okay to talk about the fact that it is this amorphous subject, and it is complicated and complex and intimidating, and that's fine. But as you said, the most important thing is just figuring out what your boundaries are and setting them. I think that's important. So thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Chatting with you.